What's up, Sparkman family? It's your boy Sparkman, and welcome back to another video. 3 videos today, and 3 massive W's for Konami in all 3 videos we talked about today. And all these news that was announced was while I was sick, but it's okay, we're catching up on it, and I'm happy to talk about it even now. So with that being said, one of the next W's we're talking about today is that giant card prize that they're adding on as an additional prize value for those that win YCS, not just in North America, but in the EU as well, which is, again, a massive W in all sense of the things, because we've been talking about this type of prizing for the past 2 years on this channel. We even mentioned it when Harvey Pack asked us on his podcast, on his YouTube channel, what type of prizing should they introduce, and we talked about them introducing a giant card, but let the players choose what giant card they would like to see as their giant card versus just getting a random giant card that Konami decided to give out, which again, there are limitations to what card you can pick on this as well, but in all intents and purposes, this is a massive W because we're getting to see some sort of value added on into prizing with this as well. We talk about another verse, or like I like to call it, another ass card as a prize that doesn't really equal monetary value when all sense of things, when you're trying to make back money on the event that you just spent a bunch of money on, or just in general, when you win something, you're hoping for a huge monetary value in the sense of cash and stuff like that. Obviously not winning cash prizes with Yu-Gi-Oh, but hopefully cashing in on some of the things that you win, and you don't get that with the another ass card or the trophies or anything like that from a YCS. Now it does seem like a little bit more avenue to make back your money with stuff like this, like a giant card, because you do get to pick it. It could be first of its kind. It also could have a huge monetary value added onto it as well, for people to buy it off of you. So again, there's huge avenues for people to really make back their money on big events like this, if they do end up winning, especially. So again, this is another avenue of success that Konami is starting to see a trend in W's, because we talked about the packs that they were giving out for their top, I think it was a top 16 or whatever it was, which is, again, that in itself is a great addition. This now being another great addition, as long as they keep bringing out these additions to their YCS pricing, I think more and more people will start to want to play and go out to these events to play to win these things, because now we're talking about actual value being introduced into pricing, into actually winning something and worthwhile into it as well. Because at the end of the day, yes, Yu-Gi-Oh is fun, Yu-Gi-Oh is great to win, and it feels awesome to win, but there needs to be more added on to pricing, and now we're starting to see that reflection on the pricing here, and our voices being heard finally, for God's sake, finally, not just from a content creator side, but just from a whole avenue of the audience, not from just regular casual players, but the audience that go to competitive scene being heard now, as well as Konami starting to actually make those updates, make those changes, and we're seeing it in real time, at least this past few months, and we're hoping to see even more additions versus subtractions in the YCS pricing as well. Again, I hope that they end up changing the price card as well, because I think people are very fed up of the another ass card. Like I said, another verse, but I like to call it another ass because it really is another ass card. But again, we want to see more. We want to see a better price card. We want to see more things adapt as we move on into the atmosphere here. I think a lot of people will be excited to see changes made, and like I said, changes being made right now. People are excited, people are hyped, so more changes will be for the better, hopefully, and the right changes as well. As long as Konami's making the smart, right changes, people will be happy. Right now there seems to be a little bit of hype trajectory in the Yu-Gi-Oh phase right now, because Konami, as though they made a lot of mistakes these past few months, these types of changes do give them a good nod with the community and audience here as well, which we love to see, because again, we talked about a game that's very much struggling in all sense and purposes from all different types of areas, where now we're starting to see a little bit more W's and maybe a little bit more avenue for people to now enter back into the game, but also maybe new people to start entering into the game as well with seeing stuff like this. Again, being a Yu-Gi-Oh player, there needs to be, especially a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh player, there needs to be a monetary value added on when you're winning something. And doing stuff like this will only push the avenue for players to want to go out and actually attend these events and win the events. So again, more stuff is better for the game. And like I said, just hopefully we continue to see this traction moving forward. But like I said, I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions, what you have to say about all these things, because I think, again, this is one step in the right direction, as we've said for a lot of things today, and again, in all three videos today. But I think there needs to be even more stuff, right? We always talk about, not being greedy, but at this point in time, it's not about being greedy, but it's what we're expecting that they should do for certain things, because they've done such a lackluster job the past few years, even in the existence of Yu-Gi-Oh, that we need to see a lot more, because other games are providing a lot more in terms of value, in terms of winning, and in terms of their game in general. So again, there needs to be even more push for stuff like this, and even more stuff outside of just pricing, but just the overall sense of the game, to really be in an overall sense of on a full throttle in its way back into the top three, because we've talked about Yu-Gi-Oh falling off the top three and falling short off that list, and we're hoping that it continues to stay on that list and come back as well, because there's so many card games out right now. So there needs to be a huge push for Yu-Gi-Oh to make its comeback, and stuff like this will only further progress the game in a positive atmosphere. So like I said, I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions. But remember to show you Sparkman. We'll catch you next one. Please subscribe and comment, and peace out, YouTube.